Most people missed Todd Blanche recommend Donald Trump for impeachment, presumably.
Someone paid the President of the United States $1 million for a pardon that would not violate federal law?
That is not my testimony.
What is your testimony about?
My testimony is that the power to pardon in our Constitution is not limited. So what I mean by that is the president doesn't have to say why he's pardoned.
No, I didn't say that. I'm asking you, though. So if someone wrote in the memo of a check for $1 million to the President of the United States, any president, said for issuance of a pardon, would that be a violation of federal law?
Yes, potentially. I would.
Under what section
of facts? I think there would be
You just said
violation of the bribery law. Yes,
bribery law, even though the Constitution gives you unlimited power as president.
The person that paid the bribe would be
okay.
For the president himself who accepted the money. I think you would need to impeach him in that case.
Gotcha.
At least under my reading of the Constitution.
Yep, he did. My representative that represents my district, actually, Glenn Ivey, pressed Todd Blanche during his oversight committee hearings on what appears to be Donald Trump selling pardons off.
Mang's questions about Binance, which frankly looks to me like a blatant pay-for-pardon scheme. So let me walk through some of the facts that lead me to that conclusion. In late 2023, Binance and CEO Zhao agreed to pay a penalty of $4.36 billion. A U.S. judge approved the guilty plea for multiple federal crimes and a civil settlement for anti-money laundering and sanctions, and that was in 2023. Donald Trump is elected president in November 2024. December 2024, Mr. Zhao and Mr. Witkoff meet in Abu Dhabi at a Bitcoin conference. In March of 2025, a couple months later, you're confirmed as Deputy Attorney General. March 25th, 2025, World Liberty Financial announced that it would launch a stablecoin called USD1. World Liberty Financial is a family-owned business by the Trump family. Two of his sons are in it, and Mr. Witkoff's got interest in it as well. 1 month later, in April 2025, Binance's founder, Mr. Zhao, was sentenced to federal prison for money laundering and other federal crimes that included funding to terrorist groups like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. On May 1, World Liberty Financial announces that an Emirati company called MGX, that also has ties to Mr. Witkoff, would use $2 billion on the stablecoin I just mentioned, USD1, to invest in Binance. This gave President Trump and his family a revenue stream that could be worth tens of millions of dollars. According to the Wall Street Journal, Binance took steps that catapulted the Trump's family's ventures into stablecoin product, enhancing its credibility and pushing its market capitalization up from $127 million to over $2.1 billion. Now, on May 5th, Mr. Zhao publicly stated that he had applied for a presidential pardon for the crimes that he'd previously pled guilty to and had been sentenced to jail for, and the restitution amount of $4.3 billion plus was put in place. A few months later, on October 21, 2025, President Trump grants him a full pardon with no explanation, by the way, in the document, at least that I saw. So this looks like a pay-to-play kind of scenario. You've got the meeting that takes place. You've got the money that's transferred to an entity that's owned by the Trump family. I don't think the president has actually divested his interest there necessarily, but I could stand corrected on that. But certainly his family still has interest in it, as does Mr. Witkoff. And then a few months after that, he issues a pardon. So why haven't you appointed a special prosecutor to take a look at this? This looks, on its face, it just looks like a quid pro quo scenario that should be investigated. Why haven't you taken that step?
Well, the power to pardon in our Constitution is given to the President of the United States. The Constitution does not require him to provide any explanation for who he chooses to pardon, or commute or not commute. And so I very much reject the idea that the premise that this looks like something is a basis for me to appoint a special
Let me
prosecutor.
reclaim my time. The Constitution gives him absolute power to pardon. It does not give power to pardon in exchange for payments, clearly. And a $2.1 billion payment to his family, and we'll set aside the fact that he should have divested from all of those interests anyway, but the fact that he gave that he gets the $2 billion piece, and then a few months later pardons the guy who was guilty of money laundering and providing money to, or helping to finance the money laundering operation for ISIS and Al-Qaeda and the guys we're fighting in Iran right now, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
I don't.
That's not a problem?
Who he chooses to pardon is not a problem, period. And you're saying all these things that are just not true.
What's the legal basis for that statement?
The Constitution of our
The
United States.
Constitution does not give
Yes,
him
it
the
does.
authority to
Yes, it
pardon
does.
in exchange for payments.
What
It
does
does
that
not
mean, in
permit
exchange for
bribery.
payments? You told me nothing about exchange for payments. You said there's.
Well, I just told
you. Just put
you.
a bunch of facts together.
Well,
and
that's
then
why
lead
you
to
need a special
conclusion.
prosecutor. Shouldn't somebody clearly you're not going to do it. Shouldn't somebody be appointed, a truly experienced prosecutor, to take a look at this and conduct the investigation?
To
And then
look
if
at
he
whether the
reaches the
president did
conclusion that
something
you're
he has
right,
full
that's
authority to
fine.
do?
But if he finds that there's a problem
No,
with what the
you want a
president
special
did or his
prosecutor.
family, then he should move forward with prosecuting that
Gentleman
case.
has expired.
Given the fact that a lot of moneyed individuals who owe money to, in restitution to their victims, who owe money to taxpayers, who are either convicted already or have been sentenced and have penalties and are serving time. Donald Trump has been, interestingly, excusing all these people from their payments and opportunities. And there's reporting and insider knowledge and information that is looking like he's selling these pardons. When my representative from my district, Glenn Ivey, during the Oversight Committee hearing, pressed him on it, he said a president that sells pardons should be impeached. So, Todd Blanche is before the Senate Judiciary Committee this week, vying for the job of Attorney General, for which he is utterly unqualified and disqualified for, including but not limited to the following things. Over 1,200 Department of Justice workers wrote the Senate asking that he not be named the Attorney General. Over 112 judges wrote to the New York State Bar asking for him to be disciplined. About 13 or so past judges wrote to a current federal district court judge, Kathleen Williams, who was investigating and overseeing the $10 billion lawsuit Donald Trump lobbed against the United States government, IRS, for a leak that impacted lots of other people, which was promptly closed out and turned into a $1.8 million slush fund for Donald Trump's allies and the violent insurrectionists that attacked our Capitol and led to the unliving of police officers, many of whom they also attacked viciously. He also, in addition to that, was by that judge seemingly would be referred to the bar for discipline for his role in all of that looks like a fraud in the court. He's also being contemplated to be held in contempt of another judge's court, Jim Boasberg, the chief judge of the district court in D.C. And he got what looks like Ghislaine Maxwell to say that she never saw Donald Trump doing anything inappropriate in exchange for her being downgraded to a facility where she is the only sex offender in that low-grade facility. And most sex offenders would not be allowed to go in their low-grade facilities. He saw her. She said that statement. She got downgraded, which looks like something that was discussed during a leaked meeting where Todd Blanche was present along with the White House White House chief of staff and several other J.D. Vance discussing how to handle additional explosive accusations against Donald Trump. And there was a discussion as if they give her something, it's going to look bad. Notwithstanding that concern, per the article, the expose, which is also in the book by Maggie Hagerman and Jonathan Snow, despite how it looked, they still looked like that's what they did. So with the bipartisan, equal interest of people from both left, center, middle of the aisle to have the Epstein file released and to prosecute the men who harmed these children. Todd Blanche went above and beyond to give a cushy deal to one of the people who was convicted, the only person convicted along with Jeffrey Epstein, and has been actively working to not only not prosecute any of the men that we've already seen. Some of them have already been leaked, Rokana leaked or shared through the unredacted testimony, at least a dozen of these people. All the internet sleuths who have been going through the $3 million release have identified dozens, if not dozens, not hundreds of potential people. Todd Blanche has made zero effort to go after none of those people. That guy is disqualified. That's the guy who does not deserve to be the Attorney General. That's the guy who said under oath not too long ago, when pressed, that a president that accepts money in exchange for a pardon should be impeached. Now, if that's brought back up again or reminded of that testimony, because he made it finding, and he reneges or goes back on that, they need to ask him which one is your accurate belief, what you said back then or what you say now. If he sort of backs down from that, which he may. Now, if he affirms it, that's going to be interesting, because, okay, well, if you affirm that, that's great, because if it's determined later on after investigations that a lot of these people who got pardons exchanged money for these pardons, then you should be in support of Donald Trump being impeached once that information is discovered. That information would be discovered, most likely than not, when the House of Representatives this fall, and most likely the Senate, flips from red to blue, and the Democrats in Congress will regain control of the agenda, because they will take over the chairmanships in all of these committees. And they'll also have the ability to subpoena people, including bankers and other people associated. So all they need is to investigate to find out who knows about these deals, who arranged it, who whatever, and bring those people before the court. And if they admit it, that's bad. If they plead the fifth, that's bad. Because at some point, someone's going to break and is going to find out. The minute we find out that any of these people that were pardoned got paid money for it, then based on your own sworn statement before Representative Glenn Ivey, 4th District of Maryland, a few weeks ago, that means that's an impeachable offense, and you agree that Donald Trump should be impeached. And so that's something they were glad to do. There's lots of list of things that these impeachable offenses he's done, and he knows he's done them. That's why he's going above and beyond, doing everything in his power to try to stop people from voting and try as much as can to suppress. Because to say that is a voter suppression bill. It is not a voter fraud bill, because the Heritage Foundation did 24 years of longitudinal study of research in drifting, and they found less than 1% of voter fraud. And many other states done the similar case. It's not an issue. It's a means to provide roadblocks to stop people from voting, such as he tried to seize the mail-in ballots. He tried to use the Postal Service to not let ballots be counted. This week, I hear he's going to try to declare, which is not an issue. It's just he's just using his bully pulpit to just do everything but give people lower prices and child care, which he said the government can't take care of. He said we're too busy fighting this war that we didn't have to fight for, and burning through $1 billion of war fighter jets and ships for a war that we had no business in, and we had to pay for that. We can't pay for child care. We can't take care of your housing. We can't bring the cost of food down. We can't bring the cost of housing down. We can't help your prescription costs or your health care. We need to pay for these wars that I got into unnecessarily. That's what he's telling these people. And I'm not doing anything for you. I'm retributing my grievances and using the Department of Justice and FBI to do that. And I've taken people who investigate crimes from FBI and Department of Justice, white collar crime, gun crimes, drug crimes, child trafficking, all sorts of crimes that these institutions do. I'm taking them all off of that, and I'm putting them on immigration and helping me retribute my grievances. That's what he has. He's using our government for his sole search interest whatsoever. And Todd Blanche is an agent to all of that. So, we all know what's coming for us. That person should not be AG. He has no business being AG. He's extremely compromised for all the reasons I said before. And he needs to have this, he needs to be this needs to come out. In addition, he also tried to create a database and compare the voter data rolls with IRS data or potentially Social Security data, which violates multiple privacy laws that explicitly prohibit such database being built. So we got the mail-in ballots, attempting to seize voter boxes, attempting to purge people from the voter rolls, attempting to pass an act that's not going to be passed because the Senate Majority Leader John Thune already said, I am not getting rid of the filibuster, because the minute if you get rid of the filibuster now while we're in control, the minute the Democrats take over and they have the lead, that's the end of all Republican priorities or interests are gone. So Senator John Thune was like, no, I'm not doing it. So SAFE Act is not going to pass. And so every single thing he's doing, until even trying to fire all the people at the federal government to work on that sort of stuff, he's doing that as well. He's desperate. So trying to fire all of the people who are part of the committee to ensure that the state's elections board run smoothly and are funded well. He's trying to remove that. All of this is effort to sort of stave off the inevitable of him losing his job and being thoroughly investigated. All the grift he's done for 18 months, 19 months, we're about to find out everything. The Democrats are about to investigate every single one of them. Everyone is involved. So if you were complicit, if you helped, if you was adjacent, whatever that, get ready to go down with him. Because when he was asking for you, get ready to go down with him. Because when he was asking for your help in grifting, and you, with your own grown ass eyes and feet and hands and body parts, went along with it, when it's all get investigated, if you go under, just like last term, a lot of people who was his friends, his sycophants, a lot of them went to jail. A lot of them were prosecuted and investigated. All the January 6ers, Roger Stone, not Bill Barr, Roger Stone, what's this other guy? Steve Bannon went to jail. So, and lots of all of his lawyers all lost their law license. So all of you have no damn sense, because all the people who helped him last time got held accountable. You're about to be held accountable too. I hope you realize this. Anyway, so all of these things he's doing, all these hijinks, is because he's trying, rather than, and instead of doing all these things, instead of focusing only on vanity projects, trying to leave a legacy by slapping his name on everything, because that's what he did. As long as he's been a businessman, all he's done is done name rights and put his name on everything, on airports, on passports, on trying to get on the Mount Rushmore, on coins, on the Institute for Peace, on the Kennedy Center, on Palm Beach Airport, trying to leave a legacy which is going to be stripped down anyway. All that stuff is strippable. Focusing on that, trying to abuse the FBI and Department of Justice to get even at his perceived enemies, to prosecute, indict them, even if there's no facts, no data, no law to justify it. Waste of freaking time doing all of that instead of trying to govern and make people's lives better. Because he doesn't know how to govern. He did not do it last time, didn't know it this time. He grifted. Because this country is sexist and racist, I don't care what you say, because there's no reason why you see somebody like that who can't speak with shit, who looks like he's not smart, who actually stole our top secret documents, took them Mar-a-Lago, who was convicted 34 times when he was running, who has already been adjudicated and was found liable for raping, and also have multiple women and children accuse him of that, who falsified court documents, who tried to find the votes and subvert the will of the people. All of these things he did, and y'all rather vote for that person versus the person who led the country that, you know, the serenity of your life the 4 years of Joe Biden. No matter how much you dislike his politics or you don't like his elevation of it, you know a lot of your life was better. Don't tell me about my 401k stuff, the chaos and stuff, the depletion of our esteem in the world, the utter like just breakdown in services. It's because of this man. So I don't want to hear anything about people talking about my 401k. Your 401k is not the only thing in the world, and that just tells how selfish and stupid are you, because you essentially don't have health care, don't have clean air. You know, they're taking away the grants. You care about nothing but your 401k. When you get your 401k, what you going to be there to live for? Because we're going to have, anyway, I digress. So you all know what you're getting into. And y'all still rather vote for that person instead of the person who was the most qualified person who had ever run for president, because she had experience in the legislature as a former senator, in the executive as the vice president, and in the judiciary as the former attorney general of the state of California. The most experienced person to ever run for office. And because you don't like her laugh, which is freaking sexist, and you didn't trust her because you're racist, you know, you're always suspicious of black people and their intentions, You voted for this man, and no matter people keep telling me like he cheated. That no matter what he cheated or not, let's say he cheated. Fine. There's still millions of people. He can cheat all he wants. There's still millions of people that voted for that. Who a lot of them now are regretting their vote. Many of them are regretting their vote, and their vote was based on them not trusting a black and Indian woman, and rather trust a known dumbass crook. So. It's FAFO for everybody. I know people hate hearing this, but it is the truth. And I've seen so many people of color, especially people from me, say this is how America has treated us the entire time in terms of taking away your assets, like just indiscriminately ending your life in the streets. This abuse of power, this putting their daggone data, like infiltrating your neighborhoods and just dumping these stupid data centers without that is called environmental injustice. It's been done for a long time in this history in this country, where they put wastewater plants, when they put pollutants, when they put all sorts of things that nobody wants in their communities, they put them in the black communities. Now the data centers, they're doing to you what they've done to black people. That's what people keep reminding y'all. Like the police can't be trusted because they just dragging people in front of their kids that they've done to all these protesters. That's what they've done to us. So I'm just saying, I mean, no one wants to make y'all feel guilty over it, but it's kind of like we've been sounding the alarm on the America. And that's why when people used to say, this is not the America I grew up with, this is not the America I know, we always will side eye anyone who says that, oh, really, this is not the America you know. Oh, and the Native Americans, the Japanese interned, the Chinese who were excluded, the Hispanic and Latino people abused right now and have been, the formerly enslaved people, the people who underwent Jim Crow, the folks who were forcibly sterilized, the folks who were part of the Tuskegee experiment, the people who were redlined, the people who were victims or the subject of environmental justice, the people who went to inferior schools, the people who just had a bunch of policies, the people who were denied the ability to get the benefit of the GI Bill, the people who were denied the ability to get the Homestead Act because of their race. All of those people would like a word with you who says, this is not the America I would live to. So essentially, you guys are experiencing the Americas that a lot of people of color have lived through, survived through. Y'all getting a little taste, and y'all like, oh my God. We're just like, oh my God, what do we say? So, enough off my soapbox, but I did want to point that out because I think people say enough. No, I don't think it bears. I don't think you can say that enough to people. Reason why I say you can't say that enough to people, because we are a culture and a society with short memories. Y'all saw what Donald Trump did the first time. You saw the chaos. You saw how he blundered the pandemic response. You saw all that, and some of y'all still doing the. I couldn't stand seeing those focus meetings when they would say, "I'm still exploring." I don't know how the hell you don't know. You know what he did last time. But anyway, I digress. Okay, what you can do now, you want to support my work here because I'm JJ Legal. I am an independent news information source. I don't want to call myself a journalist, though I do have a journalism background and journalism degree and have worked as a journalist before. I'd like to support the work I do here and all of the other independent journalists. I would like to invite you to share my video widely, like make a comment if you like. That's the free thing you can do. If you like something else free, I have an exchange for your email, a Trump survival kit that you can get from my website at jjlegal.com. This video is sponsored by jjlegal.com. And at jjlegal.com, you can also find my merch, where you can find t-shirts that I wear in my videos that supports my work as well. You can also become a member of my paid Substack, YouTube, or Patreon communities. And one of the perks of that is you get access to my free seats database. That means all of the articles and datas and charts and websites and transcripts that I use to support my videos are all in that library for you as one of the perks. In the future, I've been promised this for a long time, but I will. I'm going to do members only lives. And so just answering the members' questions, doing Q&As, and I'm also, just for you guys, I'm also going to, I really definitely going to do that. So you can join the paid communities and you get access to that. I also sell legal templates as well. So, and then I have a free civics lesson, also podcast on my website. So those are all the things. So you go to my website, lots of goodies for you there, but there's lots of different ways you can just support the work I do here and support my channel. And if you'd like to partner, I am now finally, after years of not doing this, going out actively and seeking partnership opportunities to help sustain the work I do, because that's something it has to be done, because otherwise it's not sustainable to do this. But I love doing this. I love edifying. I have a teaching background. I taught at Georgetown University Law Center. I was an adjunct teacher at University of Maryland at College Parks. I taught media law there. I've guest lectured at Penn State and Yale Law School. And I just love teaching. And I've taught online lots of times. So Thank you so much. Today's Legal Each One Teach One. I hope this was helpful and instructional. Share this video so more people know. Thank you. And if you watch this on YouTube, I'll put a video here so you can continue learning from me. Keep watching.